Good morning, students. How are you today? Welcome to today's lesson. In the last class, we did construction of angles, and today we want to look at properties of parallel lines. We first of all ask ourselves what we mean by parallel lines. We say that parallel lines are lines that are moving in the same direction but can never meet. We have parallel lines and we have perpendicular lines. When we treated and construction of angle 90 degrees, I told you that construction of angle 90 degrees is construction of perpendicular lines. That when two lines meet at a point which forms a right angle, they are said to be perpendicular. But when the lines keep moving in the same direction but can never meet, they are said to be parallel lines. Considering our topic, sometimes you see a line cut across a set of parallel lines. That line that cuts across a set of parallel lines is called a transversal. Something like these are parallel lines, they keep moving in the same direction. When you keep moving, they can never meet. When a line cuts across them, this line is what we call a transversal. And when such happens, it gives rise to some properties. We treated angles. I told you that an angle is the space between two lines. That the point where two lines meet is called a vertex. When these two lines, this line and this line meets at this point where they met is called the vertex. Then the space between the lines is what we call an angle. I have told you that. Now, when a line cuts across so many parallel lines from two or more, we find out that so many angles are formed here, an angle is formed here, an angle is formed here. Everywhere we find angles. Because of all these angles that are formed, we have some properties that arises. We have corresponding angles, corresponding property. We have alternate angle, vertically opposite angles, then angle on a straight line. Let's start with corresponding angles. Two angles are said to be corresponding when they lie exactly on the same position on the parallel lines, on each of the lines. Look at this diagram, for example. This line cuts across these two lines. Coming up here, you have an angle. Coming up here, you have an angle. Down here, you have an angle. So any angle that lies on top of this line to the right must be the same value with that which lies on top of the second line to the right. If there are three lines, for example here, this one must be equal to this, and it must also be equal to this because they are like exactly on the same position. That is what we call corresponding properties. So when we see something like that, we call them corresponding angles, and they are said to be equal. We talk about alternate angle exists between the parallel lines. It doesn't exist outside here, unlike corresponding angles. When it slides to the right, the other one will be at the left. When it is up, the other one will be it will be down. When you look at this, they are said to be alternate and they are equal. So any angle that lies here should be equal to the one that lies here. Just like here also. Anything that exists outside here, then it doesn't alternate. When we come to vertically opposite, when we look at it, there should be something like a midpoint where the two angles face. Some would say here and here. No, here and here are not vertically opposite. There should be something like a midpoint, such that when you have this one here, this one over here, they will look as if they are facing the point. Just like here, if you see this one over here, they will look as if they are facing the point. When they are like this, those angles are said to be equal. Angle on a straight line, we have encountered this severally. When you look at something like, and see this line, if you close up here, you find out that it's just like this straight line is being divided into two. Because angle on a straight line is 180 degrees, you add A plus B to give you 180 degrees. So if you are looking for A, you use 180 to subtract the value of B and get this. If you are looking for B, you take away the value of A from 180 and you get it. Okay, look at something like this again. This is also a straight line divided into three. Angle on a straight line, because all these angles lie on this straight line. They are said to be angle on a straight line. So the value of A plus B plus C should be equal to 180 degrees because it's angle on a straight line. Now let's take an example. Find the missing angles. We are given only one angle here, which is 98 degrees. Other ones are lettered A to F, G. You start from what you have. You use what you have to get what you don't have. Start from known to unknown. When you look at this, there are all these properties, you look for it. When we look at this F, This one is under this line and F is under this line. We think they are corresponding. Because of that, we say that F is equal to 98 degrees. Reason, corresponding angles. You must write your reason. Without your reason, then what you are doing, it won't be considered as being right. Now, looking at that again, you say, what can this 98 help us to find? We have got F to be 98 degrees. What again can this 98 help us to find? We can find A. You see that A is vertically opposite to 98 degrees. Also, because of that, we say A is equal to 98 degrees because they are vertically opposite. You look at this, please. Vertically opposite. Having got A and F, we say we've got this to be 98 degrees. We ask ourselves, we found A, we found F, and we have 98. What again can it help us to find? When you look at this F, you see that F and this D, they are vertically opposite. F and this D, they are vertically opposite. And 98 again can even help us to find D. Because 98 is alternate to D. We say D is 98 degrees because they are alternate angles. Or D is equal to A. The one you are looking for, you write first. The letter of the angles you are looking for, you should write it first. If you say A is equal to D. So we come to this D, which we are looking for, is equal to, you write that one first, equal to A. You don't just write equal to 98 again because it's not, there's an angle that is here, which we found to be 98. D is equal to A. In bracket, you now write the value of that A, or you say, because remember, you don't put two equal to in a line, so long as mass is concerned. D is equal to A in brackets 98 degrees because the value of A has been found to be 98 degrees. If you don't write A and tell us that D is equal to 98 corresponding angle, it is wrong because D is not corresponding to just 98. It is corresponding to A. So we say D is equal to A, which is 98 degrees. You now give us your reason. We have found A, F, and D. What again can we find? Nothing. We think of A and B, the angle of a straight line. We say A plus B should be equal to 180 degrees because they are angled on a straight line. Where our A has been found to be 98 degrees, then B will be what? 180 minus 98, 82 degrees. We'll get the value of B. Having found B, you look at this, B is vertically opposite to C. We say C, which is yet to be found, is equal to the alphabet B, which has been found. C equals B, which has been found. Then in brackets, you write the value of that B, which has been found to be 82 degrees. Reason, because they are vertically opposite. We write it 82 degrees. This is not 82 degrees. Now, what again is left? We have found A, B, C, F. When we come to this, look at C, look at E. We can see they are alternates. What are we looking for? We are looking for E. We write E first. E is equal to C, which is 82 degrees. Reason is alternate angle. Or, you can see where I put or to tell you there are many ways to arrive at a particular answer. Or E is equal to B, which is 82, because they are corresponding angles. You notice that whichever way we follow, we take, you must get the same value. What is left? G. We have found E to be 82. Okay, looking at D. D is alternate to this. Okay, we have found it. Just that we didn't write it. 98 degrees. Now, remaining G. Looking at G, there are so many ways to find G. G is corresponding to C. We say G is equal to C, which is 82 degrees, because reason they are corresponding. They lie on the same position, under here, and this one under the second line. Or G and E. G is vertically opposite to E. We say G equals to E, bracket 82 degrees, vertically opposite. You can even say G and F angle on a straight line, where you take away and get 82. So far so good. We have seen how to find missing angles. Based on that, you try this out as an assignment. Thank you very much. See you next time.